gonna do our greeting or?
Yo.
Yo.
What's good? What's good?
Good, man. Good.
All right, so yo, Hop, you were saying we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So what were we talking about?
I mean, let's just get Creed 3 out of the way because I think that's probably the easiest thing to talk about. Like,
I just thought so.
You mean Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z.
Let's get Dragon Ball Z out the way.
Did you like the?
Yeah, I mean,
just start with the fighting. Like, what did you think about it, Tim? Now that you start with it.
I mean, to be fair, I know this is Michael B's first go at directing, right? And we don't really know 100% how much latitude they really gave him, because this is still like a big property that obviously probably got a bunch of other people's hands in it.
Uh-huh.
And I also know too that majority of this film is filmed with IMAX cameras, and I know IMAX cameras are not easy to really set up for certain types of things. I know they've gotten better over the years. I know they've become more small and compact, but I know there's still difficult cameras to create certain types of rigs and certain types of shots. Maybe it's gotten a lot farther. Maybe I'm a little bit behind on that stuff, but I just felt, some of it. I wish some of it was a little more dynamic. Though it did have its moments. Let's be real. Like, and we know what moments those are. Those are the ones that clearly stand out. Like checking for like the weak points. I really like that shit though. When he was like shifting to find like the weak points, that shit felt like a realistic video. I was just like, yo, that's cool. But I think after those moments, there's nothing really else that I remember.
He has, I guess, I don't want to call them mentors, but he has kind of like a lot of people that he could lean towards besides Ryan Coogler and Stephen Cable Jr. and all of those cats. All those cats are there to basically go, nah, you should probably do this. But then again, not take away his project. Like, he still has kind of like his own vision of kind of what he wanted to do. I can see that in there. I can see the same tropes, the same movie tropes that we're used to. And then I can also see that they did give him some level of creative control, especially with the fights. You made a good assessment about the evolution of Adonis Creed, how he is as a fighter. Now that he's been through some things, he even fights different. Like the first fight when he was dissecting the weak points and all of that, you ain't never seen that in a Creed film before. So that was an introduction to that, just to show where he was mentally as a fighter. Like, you think he's losing the fight. Little Duke was giving him hell. Like, yo, why you letting him sun you like that? He's like, nah, I got him.
What did you guys think about the cinematography in this film?
I thought it was competent.
Yeah.
Clean. It was very textbook, clean. When he did his fancy stuff, we knew exactly when it was. But when it was anything outside of like the boxing ring, pretty much to the numbers type of stuff. You have to get your wide, you get your medium shot, you get your close up, this way, that way, you get it, and then you just move the fuck on.
But I like the score for this film.
Yeah,
the score was amazing.
Dr. Dre in there, a lot of West Coast influence in there.
Yeah. I wish there was more of a stamp though, like the cinematography.
Yeah. I will say that I don't know, man. Like Creed 2, I think worked with colors a little bit better in my opinion. Like I like the blue. There's a lot of blues, a lot of like, I don't know, man. Creed 2 had a little bit more of a like an
aesthetic.
An aesthetic that just looked really good, man. Like there's some parts like where the training in Creed 2 when he's outside like in the desert and stuff like that.
Grainy, it was good.
It was grainy. It was awesome, man. Like
so you already know. I know you're gonna like the new Transformers then, because that's the same director, Stephen Cable Jr. That's the same dude. Even though he fucked up Optimus.
The films, I think for me, Creed 1 had the best fights, but all the films, like just seeing them, Creed 2 had the best cinematography out of all of them.
Do you feel like he should have bit off of like kind of like paid homage to like Creed 1? First off, Creed 1 had the the revolving boxing match, one of my favorite matches in the whole series. That's
Right,
Rakugan Stamp. You know he liked the one take. That's his jam.
Yeah,
Do you think he should have at least did like one of them? Or
I should have. I think he should have, because that would have definitely been like the celebration, like the culmination of like everything, kind of like all the best like being put into like this film. So I absolutely agree.
And then add his like little touches on top of that to kind of put it all together.
Yeah,
that would have given the film an aesthetic look. That then, if they wanted to keep making creeds, not necessarily maybe with him, but just like that world, the boxing world, making more, then they built themselves like a way to film these things that now you can kind of create like a formula, I guess.
Do you think it was a little too green screening at some points?
I see what you're saying.
But yes. No and yes.
It didn't take me out though. Like,
it didn't take me out.
Though that one scene though, I think you know what scene I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where it went like, the whole thing just went kind of dead. It was like it's them. Like I understood the symbolic aspect of it, right? And I thought like that was cool, but that looked like it didn't need like a couple of more like passes with special effects though, and some moments in it kind of felt almost a little cheap. Like it's kind of hard for me to explain. It was like
I kind of wonder. I kind of am curious to know like what was behind that decision, and if it was kind of like a last minute decision, or if it was kind of like because we never really know what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to like the budget. And I'm wondering if they had to kind of, they did what they did. They had the days that they had to film. I wonder if that was maybe a pickup, and maybe Michael B. Jordan had an idea. We kind of just switched things around, and then like last minute, like it just kind of became like this artistic sort of end type of fight. And so I'm just curious to know like how that came about, because it was kind of left field, and I understood it. I liked it. I mean, we see it in anime all the time, kind of. But yeah, the execution I think could have been a little bit better. But like I said, I'm being a little bit more lenient with Michael B. Jordan, because I feel like this was a really good first film for him.
Even though it was very artistic and they did the green screen and it was very personal, by the time you were done with that sequence and it just was like, oh, we're at round 12, you're like, whoa. And it kind of cuts the tension from Dane. It kind of cuts the tension from Jonathan Major's character, who literally was in jail damn near his whole life. So he's swole. My man's should be more hungrier than him. But to me, it kind of cut that tension topic. Do you feel the editing and just the way the pacing was, do you feel like it was too rushy?
Yeah, definitely. Especially towards the third act.
That's what it felt like to me. Like they were racing to get to the next thing, racing to the point where you couldn't even absorb things. Like the moms end up having a stroke. They had a conversation about it and they glossed over it. To me, something like that, something that major, like it involves a little bit more humanity, a little bit. Even though they were like, "Yo, move in with us, we'll take care of you," all of that stuff. It was like, yeah, nah, I'll be all right. All right, moving on. And it kind of cuts the tension from Dane.
The anime moment.
Yeah.
I think he just should have went a little balls to the walls with that. Like, because I was looking at that and I was like, why does it, even though it's different, it's still cinematography filmed the same exact way. Like the lighting is still the same. Everything still felt like the same. It's like, if you're gonna take me out of that world, then make that shit like really different. Like have like the lighting be totally different, where it's like it looks.
I would have made them like red pill, blue pill. Like I would have changed.
Like really like contrast them. Have like the camera move in new types of different ways that we haven't really seen in a boxing movie. Just have that as that little like moment, and then it's just like boom. Because at least we would have been remembering that. We'd have been like, damn, that little sequence right there. Shoot, that's where all the money went.
Yeah.
Donnie Spider.
Donnie Spider.
Yeah. Fought him dirty. Fought him super dirty. He didn't do the same thing to Creed because he really legitimately wanted to beat him up, like outbox him, embarrass him.
Yeah.
But you kind of told me that his character was a grimy motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So for him to not to do anything, we're talking about no illegal, no low blows, no nothing. It kind of felt like a little small betrayal of that character, just a little bit.
It was for a third film. I was very curious at the very end, like when I finished it. I was like, why were they trying to make this into such a like very condensed like movie? Since it's like the third one, we already know these characters for many years. Like I'm just kind of wondering like why was it edited that way? Why certain beats didn't weren't given the chance for you to kind of like really absorb it. And I kind of want to know, like, was it a budget thing? Was it kind of, was it MGM?
What was the budget for this film?
It was $75 million.
75 mil. But my thing is, these things make money anyway. These things make bread.
It's a good budget.
No, I know.
They're gonna make that money back regardless, because these are like safe films. These like a horror film and something like a Creed movie. Those are safe. Yeah. You're gonna get your bread back. But I think honestly, there's probably a lot more movie on the chopping block that we haven't seen.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. That's what I'm thinking too, man. Like I'm thinking like this is probably. I mean, we'll probably get like a director's cut. I mean, I doubt it.
Yeah, they cut a lot of meat after potatoes. They just gave us the protein and took away all the sides. I was like, nah. That probably should have got developed a little bit more.
Yeah, especially the third act.
Developed a little bit more. Yeah.
I say it's a great movie all the way till we get to like the third act, and then you think you're about to see like the biggest finale, and then you don't get it. So it's like it's weird. It's weird, but I gave it a. I gave. I know you guys gave it a 7. I gave it an 8 because I did enjoy it. I think that if they do a Creed 4, I think Michael B. Jordan is definitely going to learn his mistakes from this one. And I think it's going to be a way better film, even though I do believe like this probably should be the end for Adonis Creed. Because
cast, the crying, every drama, he got that on lock.
For your first film to gross 100 mil, man, yo, congrats.
Once he starts getting a little bit comfortable with action and all that stuff, I think Michael B will probably be a solid go-to director. Like, let him take care of that. Let him give it to him. And he's giving himself an end game. Like, eventually he's going to be tired of acting. He's giving himself a lifeline. Like I could direct too if you need me to direct it. You know what I'm saying?
Right now, when we see what you can do, here's a $100-something million budget of something.
Right.
Yeah, let's see what you do. Give him something original of his own.
Michael B. Jordan's going to direct like live action Baki.
Hey, shit.
Hey, I'm cool with it though. I'm telling you, Jonathan Majors is gonna be in it. All of them are gonna be in it, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They all gonna be in it. You're supposed to say yo.